awesome.
All right, here we are. Dapper Dino here with Eric Veer. Now, okay, Eric, you said I pronounced your name correctly, but then you said it differently on your debate. Is it Vierthaler or Vierthaler?
My last name is pronounced Vierthaler.
Okay. All right. Because after you said I had it right, I was like, oh, okay. And then in the debate, I was like, wait a minute, that's not how I said it. So.
Maybe it could just be like the audio during the debate. Maybe other than that, I have no idea.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Darth Killer, who woke me up again? I did. Dapper Dino. You're here for a stream, man. So, I don't know who has or hasn't had a chance to watch your debate. Hopefully, most people have, but unfortunately, because of all this weird rescheduling and changing what channel it was going to be on, I feel like it did not get nearly as much of an audience and wasn't nearly as easy to find as it should have been.
Yeah, and that was the thing that really irritated me about scheduling it, was that they just didn't make it clear. Like, like at first they told me that they had a host, but then the day before the debate, I actually, I actually sent the tech guy an email saying, "Hey, so I just want to know some of the details about the debate tomorrow." And then they said that they didn't even have a host. I'm like, you kidding me? I'm like, the day before the debate, you didn't find a host? And then, and then I said, well, can't you guys just host it? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then they also didn't make it clear to me whose channel it was going to be on. They kind of made it clear to me that it was going to be on Kent Hovind's channel. And then if you go on my YouTube channel, I actually made a trailer for the debate. And I put it in the trailer, it's going to be on Kent Hovind's channel. And so then I didn't find out that it wasn't going to be on his channel until literally minutes before the debate actually started. And I kind of felt bad. It's because, I kind of felt like that I gave them misinformation. But yeah, but it wasn't my fault. It was their fault for not making it clear. But yeah, that was pretty unprofessional on their part, if you ask me.
Oh, I agree. It really was. Also, I'm apparently having some hissing problems on my mic. I hate this. So let me know if it's still going on, and I'll try to mute myself. Oh, it's all good now? Okay, well, switching the mic apparently was the thing that helped. So I'm just getting that the fancy mic that works really well on my desktop apparently is just crap on my laptop, and I don't know what. I don't know. Sorry about that, guys. I was trying to use the fancy microphone that I paid money for. Apparently, the built-in mic on this laptop is better than that. And also, you see, and hey, unidentified, and don't worry, unidentified. I am our debate on the coming up, people. Be right back.
Alrighty, and so that was, and now some of you may or may not know, but that actually was my very first ever live debate. Now I say my first live debate, it's because before then I have debated people on Facebook through typing and whatnot, and even in the comment section on YouTube.
Right.
But I mean, this was my first, I guess, real. This was my first real debate, and I guess you could say all of that experience, from debating people on Facebook and the YouTube comment section, actually kind of helped build up my experience. But yeah,
okay.
But yeah.
Well, I think that, like I said to you earlier before we really went on air, there were a few times, especially in the opener, where it seemed like, okay, there's a little bit of first debate jitters.
Mm-hmm.
Had a few periods with some stammering. But I think by the end of the debate, you had kind of picked it up a few notches from that, and you were feeling much more. You seemed much more confident.
Right. Yeah. And it was just when it first started, I actually got kind of intimidated, and it wasn't, man, it wasn't because I was going up against Kent Hovind. It was because of the fact that knowing that all these people like were watching it live.
Yeah. It can be intimidating. Although, hey, 17 people or maybe 16 now, I don't know, are watching you live now, so
Right,
no.
yeah.
There's a huge audience. No, it's nice to have every single person who's here, and I do appreciate all of you. And also, I've tried making a few more adjustments to my mic, so let me know if it's any better, and if it's not, I don't. I'm trying to
All
figure
right.
out how to get my audio to work on this. I
Which,
won't.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I could probably imagine like that Kent Hovind and the moderators, like they'll probably go, "Oh, he was intimidated, and so therefore it means that he was intimidated by you, Kent Hovind, and then oh, the Earth is young now." Jumping to conclusions, and and if you were to actually hear what I have to say,
Right.
hear my side of the story, he would know that that's not the case at all.
Yeah, Aqua Groundhog. It's true. My channel isn't at 1,000 subs yet, so I don't know. Get more subscribers for me. I need 97 to go. So
And you said that you're trying to get to 1,000. Is that right?
well, that's my next milestone. I mean, I'm trying to get to 50,000 million. That's the real goal. Yeah, once I get to somewhere around 8 billion or so, I'll probably stop trying to get more subs. Till then, though, always more people out there who should subscribe.
Yeah.
But
You just have to work your way up.
well, I mean, I really count the start of this channel as when I debated Kent Hovind, because that's when I really started trying to push to grow the channel and have regular content updates and stuff. That was 3 months ago. So I'm I guess now it's about 4 months ago. But I gained almost all of those 900 subscribers since then.
Iceman.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, about your debate, I just knew that at that part during your debate with him, when he said that he didn't know what a dinosaur was, I'm like, that's the perfect thing I could use against him. And then, man, during my debate with him, it took me a while, and like to finally get to that point.
Yeah, but you brought it up, and it was nice.
And the fact that he didn't say anything about it, and it's just like I just really wanted to use that against him. It's because the fact that he was going on about, oh, I know what really happened to the dinosaurs. And what.
He doesn't even know what a dinosaur is. If there were a living non-avian dinosaur and it came up in front of Kent Hovind, there's no way to think that he would actually recognize it as such. Yeah, I saw that. he has no idea.
Yeah. Right, yeah. And so then I kind of felt like I had to be his science teacher. And I'm like, okay, this is one way how you know. Sornothricians, lizard-hipped, and bird-hipped, ornithoricians.
Yeah.
So do you have a better understanding now, Dr. Dino?
My goodness.
I'm like...
I'm actually thinking about debating him on a similar topic, because I think it would be fun to see if he continues to fail.
Right. That would be funny. And that was very telling because, he claims to have done 20 years of research on dinosaurs. He didn't even know what a dinosaur was.
Anyone who can know that little about dinosaurs and claim that they spent 20... Like, what were you doing for those 20 years? Were you watching the Flintstones with your thumb up your butt or something? Like, seriously, what were you doing that counts as research? That
Yabba dabba doo.
seriously, like, I just do not get how you can claim study anything for 20 years and not know the very first thing. Like, what is a dinosaur? Should be the first thing you learn when you study dinosaurs.
Right, and that was not the only thing that he actually. That was not the only thing that he ignored during my debate with him. I brought up the whole thing about embryology and.
Oh yeah, I love that bit. Yeah, and that embryonic pigeon. Can you hold that up again? Yeah, because that embryonic pigeon hand. I mean, where's the big difference between that hand and, say, the Archaeopteryx or the Velociraptor hand? There really is basically none.
And that was why that I wanted to show that during my opening, and I even showed, the long bony tail in.
Oh yeah, and that looks just like the top-down view of any dinosaur pelvis. Is the other thing. Yeah, the chicken with the teeth. And Illuminati Don says, or no, Aqua Nugget, or Aqua. I can't. Oh, sorry guys. Aqua Groundhog says, Hovind ate dinosaur chicken nuggets for years. That's what he meant. Godless Galaxy. He claims a lot about science, like 15 years of dinosaur geology and physics. Like, still don't have a basic understanding at all. It really doesn't. Illuminati Don is making a video about all the horrible, ridiculous nonsense that Kent has said about paleontology in general, I guess. On his first video, he has a clip of Hovind saying that Ichthyosaur, and I've seen him say that so many times too. And it's like, you just look at the skeleton, you're like, no, this is not some fish. This is the now, granted, okay, for all the phylogenetic systematics pedants come out, I know fish is a poor term, and that if you want to use it monophyletically, it basically just means chordate. I'm using it in the sense of an evolutionary grade, allowed to do because grades are valid concepts. They're just not taxonomically valid. Get wrecked.
Right. Yeah, and there also even is a video out there on YouTube, like where Kent Hovind thinks that a certain chameleon is a triceratops.
Jackson's. Oh yeah, he now owns one of those. There's a. I'm not kidding. There is now a live Jackson's at Dinosaur Adventureland, which I think he thinks might have added to his dinosaur count by one.
But even though it's not even a dinosaur,
it's not a dinosaur. Well, and I love his argument for dinosaurs or lizards. He says, "Well, the word means," like, that is not an argument.
Okay, Kent. That was because back then people didn't have a good enough understanding of what dinosaurs were.
Right, and even if they did, there are only so many words in ancient Greek, which is what people, and Latin, which is what people were using. There wasn't. Oh, someone already pressed F to pay respects to the stream. I think I'm back.
All right, awesome, man. And so, I also know the Young Earth creationists have that, have that whole argument. Oh yeah, well, birds today have teeth, and then that was why that after showing this, I thought that it would have been really smart to bring that up, and I also thought it would have been smart, like, to bring up why that birds today do not have a long bony tail.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that about the modern birds with teeth. Wait, hold on. Is now? I see me.
Is it still live?
Uh-oh. Might not be.
Uh-oh. Better put it back on live. And
I'm still not even sure.
So, I also.
Oh, okay, it's back. Good.
All right, awesome. It's
all right, because I saw more than one F come in, and I'm like, uh-oh, people are pressing F to pay respects. You're aware of that meme? Press F to pay respects?
Not at the top of my head.
So it came from a video game, and the video game was widely ridiculed for having this playable cutscene where you're at a funeral and can move around near the casket, and the only thing that you can do is go up to the casket and press F to pay respects to your fallen comrade, and then the cutscene continues on, and then the next level happens. And oh, my mic keeps. Gosh darn it! I thought it was good.
Maybe you might want to get your mic looked at or something.
Well, try switching it back to the other mic. I don't know. It doesn't say I've dropped any frames, but I blame the hotel Wi-Fi. Apparently, it's better now. But yeah, that's where pay F or press F to pay respects comes from. The people type an F in the chat means the stream went down.
Right.
So
what I was saying about the birds with teeth thing is I don't understand why people think that it's an argument in the first place, because nothing about evolution says that teeth have to disappear. If birds
Right,
had teeth, the question would be, are the teeth dinosaur-like, or are they more like the teeth of some other animal?
right, and that was something what I never really understood either. It's it's kind of like say like with Australopithecus. It's like that's saying, oh well, because modern humans are bipedal, well then and they're bipedal too. Well then that means Australopithecus is not our ancestor.
Right. Yeah, it's people make very weird assumptions. And like another similar thing that Kent sometimes does, I don't know if he did it this time, say, "Oh, some modern birds have claws." And he says, even I heard him once
Right,
say something like, "Swans have claws, we just don't ever see them use it." I'm like, "Oh, so it's one of those vestigial features that you don't think exist?" Which,
right. Actually, was very surprised by the fact that he, you know, I was very surprised that after my opening that he didn't use that, and I also was very surprised. I was full on expecting him to bring up the. I was full on expecting him to bring up Behemoth.
yeah, I'm surprised he didn't.
Yeah, I was very surprised, and man, it was because I was expecting him to do it. You know, I was full. I was full on ready, like to refute it, but yeah, maybe he just wanted to finally, not stick to his script, and even though
Well,
that he kind of did anyway.
yeah, he hit a lot of his script. He just didn't hit all of it.
Right, yeah, and so going back to the opening. Besides, the whole embryology thing, what did you think of the rest of the things that I said?
So, um, I thought that overall, I thought you did a pretty good job. I think my only criticism probably spent a little more time than you needed to trying to defend the idea that none of this negates Christianity. Um, because I think Kent, when pressed specifically, he doesn't say that any of this is, a salvation thing. He's, be a Christian and accept millions of years and whatnot. And so I would have spent a little bit less time on that because it was not as big a tension as the actual evidence. But I do think it was good that you went there because Kent likes to pretend, even though he knows it's not true and has admitted as such, that it is an important theological distinction whether or not you trust God's word or not. Like, no, you can a, be a devout Christian without believing in a literal 24-hour,
Right,
6-day
and,
creation.
right, and and I knew like that Kent Hovind like was like gonna try to argue and say, you're not a Christian because you accept an older than evolution, and you're compromising the word of God, even though that he did say that I was compromising, but I just thought that it would have been, very very good, and like to show even from past history, like the whole thing like with Copernicus, and about how you know the whole point of the Bible and that whole thing with Copernicus is pretty good solid evidence by the fact that the whole point of the Bible is not to tell you, how the cosmos work, and it's not to tell you how old the earth is, and it's not to tell you when the dinosaurs lived. Um, the whole point of the Bible is to get you saved.
Right. And I won't comment too much on that because one of my policies, I don't comment really on theological matters that don't directly
Right.
touch on science. So, but I do agree that there are perfectly consistent Christian interpretations of the Bible that do not require you to believe young Earth or deny the reality of it. Also, I've received their Facebook messages. I want to let people know if you're connected to me on Facebook, I am not there, and if you have questions for me, perhaps check to see if someone else might have the answer, especially if it pertains to anything that's going on right now, because I am not able to really keep track of those. So I know that there may be a few people watching, maybe sending those. So sorry about that. I can barely hear my phone making Godzilla noises in the other room. Godzilla noises mean that I got a Facebook message.
So I'm assuming that when you say Godzilla noises, I'm assuming that it's probably his roar.
Yeah, it's a roar. If I remember correctly, it's the Showa period roar.
Nice.
Yeah,
Actually,
go classic. Bless you. Oh, actually,
great. It's actually great to finally meet somebody like who also is a Godzilla fan.
Yeah, we're out there. Which actually reminds me. So, hey, surprise announcement. I and a couple other people will be starting a new channel focused on things like movie commentary tracks, reviews, discussions about movies, TV shows, stuff like that. So keep tuned here for more information about that. Kent with Bent is actually creating the channel. Or sorry, well, Bent from Kent with Bent. So watched my channel for a while, you may know that name. He'll be creating the channel in the next few days. And as soon as we can find a good day to record some audio, our first video will be up hopefully before the end of next month. Hopefully a lot sooner than that, but that's when I would like to have it come. So stay tuned for an entertainment-focused channel that will not be talking just about science and stuff. And I may do some Godzilla reviews on that channel. So, you know, if you like watching someone talk about Godzilla movies, because I have seen all of them, most of them several times. I can honestly say I've only seen Godzilla's Revenge twice. That movie is awful. But
but of course, you know, that one is notorious for being one of the worst. And you know, it's called Godzilla's Revenge, but who did he get revenge on anyway?
Gabara.
I guess.
Gabara, the worst monster in the entire Toho lineup.
What the most annoying roar.
Yeah, I would rather see Godzilla versus Gargantua. Godzilla.
Yeah, but anyways, we're starting to.
Yeah, that's way off topic. Sorry about that, guys. A little digression down into some Toho kaiju action. But yeah, so that's the surprise announcement. Stay tuned on that. Back to the debate. So I still want to say I can't believe that Kent Hovind is still calling Quetzalcoatl.
What?
He's still calling Quetzalcoatlus a bird. I literally have a whole video about that.
I want to see that now, but you know, when my mom saw the debate, she said, you know, it's very clear that he has an agenda and that he wants it his way. You know, it's kind of like saying when you were 5 years old and it would pout like whether or not if you couldn't watch your favorite like cartoon show at a certain time.
Right.
I kind of think that Kent Hovind is the equivalent to that, just with young Earth creationism.
Yeah.
And so.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So, what did you think of the rest of the things that I said?
So I thought you did a pretty good job of bringing up actual topics. The opening was. I thought it was, like I said, I thought it perhaps focused a little bit more heavily on the theological than I would have liked. But other than that, I think it was pretty solid. I really liked your takedowns of his zoological claims. And things that you brought up was like, this eyewitness testimony doesn't really mean anything in terms of zoology. Like, show up, bring a body. Where's the holotype specimen? Until you get a holotype specimen, don't talk to me about all these made-up animals.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, and when I did my review of that, I actually kind of wanted to have like a sense of humor about it. And so, and then, you know, that was why, like, that I came up with the humorous analogy. It's like, oh, well, that's like saying that I'm going to say that I saw a shark walking around my backyard wearing a tutu and singing the YMCA.
Right.
It's like, it doesn't thing.
And one thing that I really like that you brought up was that the Iike stone ones with the dinosaurs, they don't have any provenance, right? And even if they were accurate depictions of dinosaurs, which they're obviously not, they're extreme.
Which I even pointed out
And
to
I
him.
love that. But one of the things I really liked is you pointed out these stones have no provenance at all. There's no way to verify where they came from, that they actually came from there, which means that from a archaeological and historical standpoint, they may as well not exist. Because in order to actually take something like that as evidence, you have to be able to show that it actually came from an archaeological site. But no one can.
And also, and the fact that when I mentioned like that, the guy never even, revealed where they were found at, and that's a huge red flag.
Oh, hold on. Don just said in one of Kent's videos he kept mixing up Argentavis magnificent Pterosaur. That's a vulture. Just straight up a vulture.
The ignorance. The
Pax,
ignorance.
Pax evolving his keyboard is allergic to coffee. Well, perhaps drink the coffee farther away from your keyboard, man. But yeah, like I cannot imagine anyone has even a cursory knowledge of taxonomy, paleontology, anything like that, mixing up Argentavis with any pterosaur. Hey, you know what? Just go play Ark Survival Evolved. That'll help.
And
Normally I wouldn't recommend that for paleontology info, but they get that distinction right. They don't put Argentavis in as a pterosaur.
And so, when he brought up the whole thing about, back in the 1500s with the Iike stones, I actually was going to say this, but lack of time prevented me. And so,
Yeah.
and then I was going to bring up, okay, the stones from the 1500s, there's no evidence that they ever even had dinosaurs on them.
Right.
And and I so wanted to bring that up, but and I just, it just really sucks because of lack of time. It's because if you're to go watch debate now, I say if you're to watch it before having that knowledge, like I was going to refute that. You actually, some people who wouldn't know any better, they actually probably would think like, hey, Kent Hovind kind of has a point with the ones from the 1500s. Yeah, but they never had dinosaurs on them, and there's no evidence that.
Right. That's the thing. There are authentic ecosystems.
There are just not the ones with the dinos on.
Right. There's no dinosaurs on the authentic one. There are also no UFOs on the authentic one. No one is performing brain surgery on the authentic one. And that's one of the things that always bugs me. Is like if the ecostones are evidence of dinosaurs, humans, they're also evidence of aliens coming to Earth in like medieval South America. So, what are aliens real too? In order to believe in Jesus, do you also have to believe in ancient aliens?
Right. Yeah.
I feel like you don't have to believe in both of those things. You could choose one or the other.
Right, yeah, and there is some controversy about that within Christianity, which I kind of think is kind of stupid. It's like, believing in aliens isn't a salvation thing either, and so, if there was legit evidence that like the aliens are out there, sure, would accept it, but it's just the fact that this is what I said once when the one guy asked me that question about evolution. I said absence of evidence is not evidence in of itself, because that's like saying, because space is so vast that Darth Vader must exist. And the reason why that I brought that up during that question, it was because that I knew that there would be some younger creationists who would go, he can't answer it, so therefore it's evidence against evolution.
Yeah.
And the Earth is young.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's definitely. And speaking of the short debate time, I don't know if you noticed, but not that long ago, Kent would do 2.5-hour debates. But now he's. Sorry, go ahead.
I actually did not know that.
Yeah, if you look at like his debates with King Crocoduck, they're like an hour and a half each, but he does like 3 of them in a row. So when you add up, that's essentially one debate that ended up taking like 4.5 hours or something. It's also really good if any of you are into cosmology or anything. Check out the King Crocoduck debates. They're on Steve McRae's channel. But
Which I actually have seen, like a lot of King Croc videos, and actually, he actually did a commentary like on Eric Hovind, and in preparation for my debate, I actually watched, the ones like where King Crocoduck like was refuting all of Eric's arguments that humans and dinosaurs coexist, and I actually was going to use King's arguments against Kent, but just lack of time prevented me.
yeah, and I think he actually purposefully tricks how long he'll debate for in order to make sure that most of his points cannot be adequately. And that's one of the reasons why I think if you want to debate Kent Hovind, you need to take him off script so he can't make as many ridiculous statements as.
Right, yeah, and and I tried that, but because it was my first debate, I'm just not as experienced, but I have to build it up. But yeah, and oh yeah, and about the Iike stones. One way that how I tried to get him off the script was by using this. I'm like, all right, Kent. So if the stones really are evidence, because it's drawn on an object. Okay, so sorry, you mean to tell me that this is evidence, like there are anthropomorphic rabbits out there?
Yeah. Well, it's true, and even if it were evidence of something, it would probably be evidence of the Ichthyosaur would more likely be evidence of time travel from like the 40s back to 500 years ago, because the animals depicted on the Ichthyosaurs are 1940s dinosaurs, not actual dinosaurs.
Right, yeah, and time is a fraud's worst enemy.
And yeah, Alpha Marshalman points out that Ken has been the same slides since like '85, and it's true. He's added a few.
But yeah, I was surprised when he brought up the whole argument about oxygen, which and about that. I actually had a rebuttal ready for it, and but just lack of time. But it was just the best that I had to offer during that was trying to explain to him like the whole science of about how about how that we know dinosaurs got big because of the oxygen levels.
Yeah. Well, so there's a few things with the whole oxygen level. During a lot of the Mesozoic, yeah, oxygen levels were fairly high. But the other thing is, dinosaurs did have a much more efficient respiratory system than we do. So you get a much bigger dinosaur under the same oxygen can a mammal without having respiration become. So it's not at all clear that most dinosaurs would be big to be able to breathe our modern percent oxygen atmosphere. That's not
Right,
clear at all.
right, and also and the fact by the whole oxygen argument, what I was going to say, okay, Kent, that is just a hypothesis, and then it's like, Kent, the actual scientific consensus about how the dinosaurs went extinct is because of the asteroid, and we know that because of the KPG boundary. And I really wanted to say that, but just
yeah, but he's not going to admit to any of that either.
Say what?
He won't admit to any of that either.
He won't, and which is funny. Eric Hovind has actually forced him to even admit like that the asteroid happened, and so he was like, "Oh well, maybe the asteroid happened maybe it happened like during the flood."
So,
but
I
it just my big gripe with the debate. I had fun with it, but I just really wish that I had more time.
Well, like I said, he does that on purpose. He purposefully keeps his debates short because I don't know exactly how true it is, but it's generally it illustrates the point. It's been said that it takes about 4 times as long average false statement as it does to make the average false. So overall, if you want to adequately address an hour worth of lies, you need about 4 hours to cover it. And I've found that my response videos, I end up talking almost 2 or 3 times as long as the video I'm responding to.
Yeah, that definitely would make sense if that is true.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done the math on it, but just from personal experience, it takes a lot longer to reply than it does to tell one.
Definitely. It's because of the fact that you have to poke all the holes. And I actually was wanting to refute, his whole argument about Dragon Legends. And if you notice that during the debate, I actually had to ask him what his other points were. And the reason why I had to do that is because, focusing on one thing at a time. Mama, then when I asked him, he never even answered.
Well, I love how he's always going on about, like, oh, let's stick to one topic. And then in the next breath, he'll bring up 5 new topics.
Adam and Eve.
Yeah, it's just like, that's not on topic.
Right, it's not. And the fact that he was bringing up all these biblical verses, I'm like, and I was thinking in my head, that's not what the debate's about, but, taking the script and yeah, I meant about that, my family members who saw that debate and when they saw all of my biblical refutals to his biblical arguments, they said, "Holy crap! I never knew that you were that knowledgeable about the Bible."
Well, I think it's nice to have someone who can take these theological arguments and rebut them from a Christian standpoint, because a lot of the people who go up against Kent Hovind, I feel like one thing that may be a part of the problem, or not, I want to phrase this correctly. One thing that may be tactically disadvantageous for them in terms of reaching his audience is that his audience is typically set up to his opponent as an enemy of their faith, which it doesn't have to be the case, although often it is the case. And so, in terms of people drawing people away from him, I think it's nice to have some of his be people who are actually Christians and open about that. And because it's always easier to take correction from someone who you think is on your side.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's fair to say that the anti-theists or atheists, even the apatheists or whatever that sometimes debate Kent, aren't on their side, but it's easy to see why they might think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny because people like Canham will complain quite often about how young people are leaving the church, and all these people are leaving Christianity, and they'll say, oh, they are leaving. It's because of when they compromise the word of God and try to add in millions of years. But that's not that they are leaving the church. That's not why they are becoming an atheist. But the reason why they're becoming an atheist is actually because the earth is only 6,000 years old. But when they go off to college and learn about evolution, and then people like Kent Hovind and Kent say, it's either you believe the earth is young or you're not a Christian.
Yeah, I will say, I think that on net, Kent probably destroys faith of more Christians than he makes.
Which was one of the reasons why I was wanting to debate him, and especially by the fact that I'm a theistic evolutionist, and I'm not trying to be redundant, but that was why that I really wanted to emphasize on about how my whole theological points in my opening, but
right. Which I think you did pretty well. In fact, like I said, you may have done it too.
Yeah. Thank you.
was something I wanted to say about.
Oh yeah, about how he brought up that Stegosaurus carving, about how that's been
Oh my
debunked.
goodness, that is like the worst argument. It's like
That is, and I
the only way to make that thing look like a Stegosaurus is if the only thing you know about Stegosaurus is that it has plates on it. Other than
right, and I
that,
even told him the head is too big. It's like, have you ever seen a Stegosaurus head? I mean, yet he was still going on about how, oh, it's a Stegosaurus. It's like the head's too big. There's no thecomizers.
yeah, it's. I can't imagine someone drawing a worse image of a Stegosaurus if they had tried to. It's just
I
not a Stegosaurus.
I mean, heck, I've seen kindergartners who could draw a better Stegosaurus than that.
Seriously, it's just ridiculous. And actually, it makes me want my Stegosaurus. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
And I would love to see it now. And I also was surprised that Kent Hovind also didn't bring up the Comro figures either.
Oh yeah, he didn't. So he brings them up every once in a great while, but I feel like they're not one of his more common things. I think part of it is that they just look so weird and hard to identify at all. All of them are just
Right,
weird, spindly, crude things. Spikes.
like they don't really look like dinosaurs, you know. They just kind of look more like something like like a 5-year-old like would do an art class. And also, and what really hurts the Comro figures whole, you know, the whole argument about that. One of them has like a face on their side.
Yeah, that's clearly not a real animal.
So are you mean to tell me, well, like there are some dinosaurs out there who had like a face on their side? Like, come on.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. All right, it's taking me a little while because apparently I forgot the password that I was using for the website that's hosting it. So
Oh yeah, so about Dragon Legends. So because of lack of time, I wasn't able to get into this, but my rebuttal was going to be, okay, Kent, if you were to look at a dictionary, the word dragon means serpent.
yeah,
So that's very telling. And also, the older the dragon legends are, they are more snake-like. Man, also, there actually is one dragon legend out there where it says that it has 6 legs and a face like a bear. So I'm like, huh, Kent, I sure don't ever know of any dinosaur that ever had 6 legs and a face that looks like a bear.
right. That would be a very interesting dinosaur to find.
Man, I know I'm beating a dead horse, but you know, I so wanted to use that against him. Darn you, Kent.
Well, you're always going to have more stuff um, to. Oh, I'm not sure I can share this. It has my actual name. Darn. I may be able to put it up as.
But yeah, but yeah, that actually is why I actually want to do a second debate with him.
I would like to see that. I think it would be good. I think you'd have learned some lessons. Have probably have a better idea of how to keep him off balance because that's one of the things about Ken is you have to keep off balance or just go on rough.
Mm-hmm.
I now am on a quest. I will find. Yep.
Hello. But yeah, buddy, I want.
I feel like that might not actually be the. I can't prove it though.
Yeah, and so from my understanding, the words in actual English are here comes a lion or something like that.
All right. I should be able to pull it up now because I downloaded it. So is it? Yes. All right. So I'm gonna put it on screen. Here comes my Stegosaurus. Not super the most accurate Stegosaurus, but
but
I
probably
made it.
more accurate than that
Oh, it's
carving that Kent.
way more accurate than that. So there is my Stegosaurus. Hooray! I know, doggo screen time. Doggo screen time. But hey, there's I don't know. You might be able to see it if you on the stream.
Oh,
It's on the stream, but fortunately, it's not easy to share it. I don't think. I share. Share. Yeah, here we go.
oh boy, here we go. Well, that definitely is a lot more accurate. You know, well, like I said, it's more accurate than what Kent Hovind was arguing.
Yeah. Now, how do I unshare it?
Well, that's not the question.
There you go. Yeah, so that was made that. Oh, how long did that? January 2017.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that was like, holy crap! I can't believe that was already 2 years ago already.
Yeah. I mean, I had fun with it. It was a nice little project, and I've been doing dinosaur stuff for a fair bit now.
Right. Yeah. I also like to draw too, but it's just like with how busy my life has been, I just haven't had as much time as I used to.
Well, I feel like no one does.
Yeah, and especially like with me going to school now, working, and before the debate, you know, I was so busy with preparing for the debate, doing homework in school and
Yeah.
work, and while at the same time, they're trying to keep my life balanced with taking care of my dog and trying to spend time with friends and family. So
Sure.
I definitely had a lot to work with.
There is a request for confirmation that your dog is a beagle.
Yes, he is.
Okay, there we go. Yep,
Percent beagle.
that's a beagle.
He's actually not the first beagle I've had. He's actually now the third one I've
Don't tell him that.
had. Oh, he won't know, right? Yes, love me, beagle.
Aw. Very cute. I think that beagle just stole the show.
Probably, and I mean, you know, he is by far one of the friendliest dogs you will ever meet. And actually, very shortly before the debate, he actually was taking a nap on my bed. And then at the last minute, he actually woke up, and you know, and I didn't want to have him distract me during the debate, and so very, very quickly, I had to go drive over to my nana's house and then drop him off, and then I had to quickly drive back here, and then, you know, just shortly before that I came back, you know, the whole thing went live.
Oh wow, good timing there.
Oh, definitely. And there actually was one other. Thing that I could have swore that Kent Hovind was going to use, and I was very surprised that he didn't. But that alleged sauropod carving.
Oh yeah.
And I actually was going to point out to him, you know, it's actually probably, you know, just a bunch of stains.
Yeah, like, and even if it's not, that doesn't actually look like a real sword.
Right. And I mean, the anatomy is so off. Like the tail is dragging. The tail is way too big.
Oh yeah. It's one of the weird things I find about all these alleged depictions of dinosaurs is that they aren't depictions of dinosaurs. They're depictions of cartoon dinosaurs from 40 years ago.
Right. And I want to bring Piss up too. I'm like, Kent, don't you think it's kind of odd how most of these carvings like are mostly just of sauropods, and there's no Tyrannosaurus, there's no Carnotaurus, or there's none of the lesser known dinosaurs?
Yeah, there's no dinosaurs that we could say predict. Like, at no point do these figures have any of the dinosaurs that like you wouldn't expect people to know about around the time they were discovered.
Right, yeah. And I don't know if you have ever heard of Trey. I don't know if you've ever heard of Trey the Explainer.
I have heard of Trey the Explainer.
He actually made a whole video debunking the Iike stones, and
Yeah.
he brought up a very good point. It's like, had the stones have been proven, the stones had to have proven like a species of dinosaur, like that actually was found in the area, and that actually was why that actually brought up, tyrannosaurs were never ever found in that area.
Yeah, why are there foreign dinosaurs? And by the
Right.
way, I am linking Trey the Explainer's video. Don't watch it now. Put it in a new tab.
And the reason why that I left that room, this is something I was going to use, but I actually was going to talk to him. Like about Archaeopteryx. Now,
Is that a
my whole
reproduction of the holotype?
yeah, it is.
Nice.
Man, I also know that, and I also know like the Archaeopteryx was a lot bigger, but the reason why that I got a smaller version of it is like just so that way it wouldn't take up as much room, And I was really wanting.
Fits in the
Man, I
house.
was really what?
I said it fits in the house.
Right, yeah, and one of the things I was wanted to tell him, I just wanted to tell him like the whole history of it, and as to why that Archaeopteryx proves that birds are dinosaurs, even though that I kind of did that anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah, guys,
that's a pretty.
these
Is
are
that
all
is that
my.
a fossil shelf? What's that?
Huh?
Must be your fossil section.
But this is actually one that I found. I actually got this in the Hell Creek Formation last summer. This is a tailbone of an Edmontosaurus.
Wow. You actually
And I
found
was
a non-Allosaurus fossil in first formation, huh?
well, this summer I actually went to Wyoming, and I was trying to find an Allosaurus, but I
That's
didn't. But
that's like
however,
50%
though,
of vertebrate finds in first formation is Allosaurus.
in Wyoming, I actually dug up this shell. This shell is actually from the Triassic,
Oh, okay.
and also, and and I did find a dinosaur there. I actually found a Camarasaurus rib bone, but they said that because of that specimen was just so important to the museum, they said, well, sorry, but you can't keep it. But however, though, once how we get it all dug out entirely, we will definitely give you the credit.
Yeah, credit for discovery.
Right.
Well, that's really cool.
This is by far like one of my most prized ones. This is a Columbian mammoth joint.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so when some of the first mammoth fossils were found, a mammoth femur and was taken for the petrified scrotum of a giant.
Right. Yeah. And what's funny, I actually have argued with a lot of Christians who think that dinosaurs never were real. And one of the most common arguments that they will use is like, oh, no dinosaur was ever found before Sir Richard Owen
That's not
ever
true.
idea. But I'm like, no, I'm like, Megalosaurus was found back in 1690, no way, 1676, like by Robert Plot.
Right. Hey, you have a reproduction of some what looks like a macronarian skull. I think it's on the top shelf.
I do.
Yeah, there it is.
This is one that I actually got at Universal Studios at the Jurassic Park ride.
Interesting.
This is actually a small scale Brachiosaurus, even though I know that their skulls were a lot bigger. But I mean,
Well, yeah.
the whole point to this is like that's a small scale.
Yeah. I like it though. Genuine woolly mammoth hair.
Mm-hmm. And it's not a dinosaur fossil, but it's definitely one of my most prized possessions. I actually have real film cells from the Lost World.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. I found that off of Amazon.
Hey, you can get just about anything on there, right?
Right, yeah.
I am not in any way sponsored by Amazon.
No way at all. And I actually found this Mako shark off of Amazon too.
Okay.
Yeah, originally.
Oh, your video has cut out. Oh, there.
but yeah, originally I was wanting to find the jawbones of a great white shark, but unfortunately I just didn't have any luck. So I was like, I guess I'll go with the
That
mako
would be
shark.
hard to fit in the room anyway. That's a lot of
Yeah,
jaw.
definitely.
Speaking of sharks, have you seen Kent Hovind claim that a basking shark carcass is a Ichthyosaur?
I was very surprised that he didn't bring that up, and I actually, I kind of was expecting him to bring that up.
Yeah.
And and what's funny, there actually is a creation museum in my state, and and, oh yeah, and during the debate, I actually mentioned that I used to be a young Earth creationist.
Yeah.
And so
But you get too often defeated in your discussions with people who weren't young Earth creationists.
yeah, and so what started. Oh yeah, so one more thing before I go back to my living room, I just want to show you guys one more thing. This is also one of my most prized possessions. Here is a metal replica of a T-Rex head.
Nice.
And what's funny, out of all places, I got it at Ashley Furniture.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
That's odd. That's not what I would expect. But hey, whatever.
Right. But yeah, so anyway, so my whole story about how I came to young Earth creationism and how I left. So I became a Christian in 2014, due to some very personal, depressing stuff that happened in my life. And one of the big questions I had, okay, what does the Bible say about dinosaurs? It's because, at that time, I kind of felt like that was a big thing to leave out of the Bible, is to not talk about dinosaurs, is because they were such a big part of history, and also, and the fact that I've been fascinated with dinosaurs ever since when I was a kid.
Right.
And then I remember that I would ask my mom, okay, what does it say about dinosaurs? And then all that she would tell me is, oh, the Bible says a day to God is like 1,000 years, and a day is like 1,000 years. But the problem was, all these people would argue about evolution with Christians, and it just kind of made me think, okay, is that whole verse just not enough? And so and then afterwards, I would ask pastors and whatnot. And so growing up, uh, my parents actually didn't have a problem with evolution at all. My mom's parents definitely did. My mom's parents are actually very, very hardcore young Earth creationists, and so and then and it just all got me questioning, about the Bible and dinosaurs, and so then I could ask, pastors, like I said, and then one day after church, I actually went up to a guy up front on accident. Hey, what does the Bible say about dinosaurs? Then afterwards, he had me meet up with some guy at his house to talk about the Bible and dinosaurs. And what's funny, he actually brought up the Cambro figures, and at that time, I never even heard of them.
Oh.
And so then afterwards, and one of the questions that I brought up was, well, what about the Triassic period, Jurassic period, and all that? It's like, how does that all fit into the Bible? And then afterwards, he told me, there actually is a Christian dinosaur museum in the States, and I recommend that you go there. I'm like, all right. I had to drive 3 hours out.
That's almost as long as I drive to get to work.
I can believe that. And so the museum is actually called the Columbian Dinosaur and Fossil Museum. And originally the guy who owns that museum was actually going to take me on tour and show me everything. It was because I had so many questions about the Bible and dinosaurs But then at the very last minute, he said, "I'm sorry, but I can't take you on tour." And I'm like, "All right, fine." And a lot now, I will admit, at that time, I wasn't as scientifically literate as I am now, and it was my first time being exposed to a lot of that stuff. About like the Delt print and so, and it was also so new to me, and it also was so new to me by the fact that about this whole thing about young Earth creationism, which I mean back then I never even knew like that there even were Christians who even thought that the Earth is young,
Yeah.
and so then
Well,
and
it's pretty much on a level with flat Earth, if you know what you're talking.
oh yeah, definitely so, and then
And I say that
one
as a former young Earth creationist, so don't get me wrong. I get why people believe it.
right, yeah, and so then I remember when I was seeing all that for the first time, I actually got kind of overwhelmed. I was like, "What in the world?" And back then, the thing that convinced me most, like, was mostly Dragon Legend. It was because back then I never really thought about the origin of Dragon Legends, and so then I mean, so then I was like, "Have I been lied to my whole life or something?" Like that dinosaurs lived millions of years ago. And so, and then, like I mentioned during the debate, afterwards, I would watch Kent Hovind, Ken Ham, and etc.
Yeah.
And then I would try to use, and then when I would debate people online, I would use all of their same points, like about Behemoth and that, radiometric dating is unreliable.
Right.
I and I remember the big thing that I would use back then about radiometric dating, I would go, well, I kind of think that maybe that pollution is kind of affecting how we date radiometric dating. It's because,
Oh
kind of,
man.
but man, that was such a really, really bad argument that I used. And I got creamed in it. I got creamed in debates. And also at that, man, and also it was hard for me to be a part of the Dinosaurs Facebook group. It's because everybody there who will be talking about an old Earth and evolution, and then I kind of felt like that I kind of stood out, and I also didn't want to say that, hey, I believe the Earth is 6,000 years old, and and then a few months after that, I went to that creation museum. I actually found out that there was yet another dinosaur museum in my state. And here's the really interesting part. So the Creation Museum in my state has a specimen called Julie Raptor. I never even heard of it, but it actually was found in 2007. And of course, the person who found it, like, his name, Julie, even though it's not a very threatening name, but at the same time, though, it is also cool that somebody got to name a raptor after them.
Yeah.
At the Creation Museum, it says, "Oh, there are only 2 specimens of Julie Raptor in the whole entire world." And I'm like, "Where is the other one?" Well, I found out where the other one was. The other one is in Malta, Montana, and and when I was a young Earth creationist, I actually went to that Malta museum, knowing that they teach old Earth and evolution, but at the same time, though, I wanted to go there. I still wanted to go there.
Right.
Just it was just because I wanted to see some dinosaurs.
So,
It was,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
and when I went to the Malta Museum, just seeing all the evidence of dinosaur and bird evolution, it got me a better understanding of radiometric dating. And I mean, I remember when I mentioned to the gal who worked there, saying that, "Oh yeah, I have been to the Creation Museum." She said, and kind of like not full on pissed, but just kind of annoyed kind of tone of voice. She said, "Yeah, they are not a science museum, and they never will be." And I'm like, "Whoa!" And then she also told me about the Montana Dinosaur Trail, and at that time, I never even heard of it. Mom, and then she said, "Yeah, that creation museum, he'll never be on here." And they actually were on that trail at one point, but I think it's pretty obvious why they took themselves off of it. Then at that Malta museum, guess what I saw? The other specimen of Raptor, and I'm like, aha! So this is why that they didn't tell me where the other one was. And then, after seeing all of the evidence and also knowing that there are tons of other Christians who accept evolution and an old Earth, that was when I got really serious about debunking young Earth creationism.
Okay. I have a quick question. When the museum said that, oh, there's only been 2 specimens of raptor found, was that some kind of an argument? Were they trying to make a point about scarcity of dinosaur fossil? I don't, or were they just saying
possible?
Okay, because
I actually have.
It's an odd thing to say from my standpoint. Oh, there's only 2 specimens. Like, oh, okay, and like, where do you go from there?
Which is funny, and I actually do even have like a picture of Raptor at both museums, but I have to scroll way back.
So I've seen some pictures. Is the one that looks like a scaly Jurassic Park monster the one from the Creationist Museum?
Let me find it. Hold up.
Oh, Kent Hovind is here. What up, Bent?
Hey, Bent.
Bent, I spilled the beans about the channel. Now you have to actually make that channel. Otherwise, all 24 people watching will be angry at you.
Oh, yeah. Here it is.
Yeah, I think I've seen that picture. I looked it up after you said it. So,
it says, this specimen is on loan to the Glendive Dinosaur Fossil Museum by Bruce and Barbara Brucker of Malta, Montana. Raptor was found on the Bruckner Ranch north of Malta on July 31st, 2002 by Mark Thompson of Australia. Mr. Thompson named this small dinosaur after his sister Julie. Raptor has been the subject of legal proceedings, with the original bones being returned to the owner in late 2009. Because of this 7-year wait for the bones to be available for research, little is known about Raptor at this time. A major international museum has now acquired the original bones, and research on the fossil and its location in Montana is ongoing. As research results received, they will be included in an additional descriptive information for this exhibit. As of December 2010, the exhibit that you are looking at is one of the only 2 copies in existence.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's not really much of an argument other than saying, oh, hey, look how cool it is that we have one.
Right. But it also is that they didn't tell you where the other one is.
I can kind of give it to them. Like, okay, much honest, and I guess I think when asked, that information should be available.
Right.
Like if you ask for it, but I can see how it's like, want to highlight that you're kind of special in having one of depictions of an animal. Okay, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
And I like to. I'll be honest.
I
probably give creationists the benefit of the doubt more than I really should. But I do.
And from the sounds of it on your channel, and I mean, who can believe whatever you want, but it sounds like that you're an atheist, agnostic, or something.
I'm not going to say either way.
All right.
So one of the reasons that I do that is that I don't want my theological position matter of discussion on the channel, because I don't want to discuss that on this channel. There are other places and other usernames where I have that kind of discussion. That's not what I'm here on this channel. So
all right, that's fine.
Yeah. So some of my know me personally.
The other one.
Okay. So it's hard to get a sense of scale. What How big is this animal?
Velociraptor, it's not that very big at all. I mean, if I were to say, it's about the size of a Velociraptor.
Okay, but not the movie Velociraptor, real Velociraptor.
Oh yeah,
Because
which
we
I actually
gotta say
forgot to
that.
show.
Oh,
I actually have a Velociraptor skull.
oh, nice. Is that life size?
Yes, it is.
There you go. So, is there? I don't want you to damage it or anything. Is there any chance that you could hold it with yourself as like a scale reference, so we can see just how big is a Velociraptor in real
Yeah.
life? Because if you're getting your ideas about paleontology from Jurassic Park, you are very mistaken about how big a Velociraptor skull.
Right here it is. It's the size of my hand.
Yeah. So that's the real Velociraptor. Oh, unidentified Leviathan, you're off? Alright, well, have a good night, man. And
yeah, I mean, for sure.
Unidentified Leviathan and I have a debate scheduled for the 5th, and unless I'm very mistaken and my memory is completely gone, it is on the same topic as Eric's debate was. Did dinosaurs live with humans? And I'm taking this non-avian dinosaurs, because otherwise I would guess.
Right, and so this is a debate that you will have.
Yeah, it's going to be on my channel. Unidentified Leviathan. He's one of my viewers from very early on, basically when I was debating Kent Hovind. All over the comments on debate on Kent's channel, and there are, I don't know, atheists who are jerks and atheists who are nice people. There are Christians who are
right, and also, and one that people need to know, just because that one Christian is a jerk, and just because that one atheist is a jerk, doesn't mean that they all are.
Yeah, it's true. There are really nice people and really big jerks every camp, and
definitely so.
I really try not to paint with a broad brush when it things like that. There are some exceptions, like if you're like an actual, I don't know, white supremacist or actual, say, communist. I think that those things are objectively enough that it's hard for me to consider outside of it. You might be friendly and polite, I guess, but yeah. Oh, and I guess that slightly reveals my political stances. I tend not to reveal on this channel, but hey, you heard it here. Dapper Dino doesn't like white supremacists or communists.
Which about communists. Kent Hovind even brought that up like during the debate, and I said evolution says nothing about that. Evolution is just change over time.
Well, the strange thing is, if you look at the relationship between, say, Soviet communism and evolution, or the theory of evolution, it wasn't exactly warm and cozy. Lysenko, what was his? Find out. I have the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lysenko. Trofim Lysenko, Soviet agronomist and biologist, famous for rejecting evolutionary theory and also for causing severe famines with his crazy ideas about commensalism and how if you just had a wonderful communist farm, all of the animals would stop being, all the animals and fungi and whatnot would stop parasitizing the crops and stop eating the crops and have a wonderful utopia full of food because all the animals would cooperate with the farmers. And it turns out that's complete and utter bullshit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, Kent Hovind, the channel is created. Shall I link it? Absolutely. Kent Hovind is going to be our new channel. The chat. If there, I assume there's going to be no content at first, but we're going to be possible some movie commentary tracks. I have an idea for a review series. So there you go. I am going over to it right now because I've never been there.
So
brand new.
So, anyways, I'm kind of wondering if anybody watching, does anybody in the comments uh, um, does anybody in live comments do they have it? Do they have any sort of questions for me at
Oh,
all?
absolutely. Ask Eric all of the questions. Extremely inappropriate personal one. That's not me promising he'll answer. I'm just saying ask them.
Right.
I can't promise anything about his answers. Also, Godzilla's roaring from the other room. I don't know why.
Actually, it's funny. It's because I actually have these two. We're right here.
Nice. You got a nice little Showa and sort of a cute, cartoony
And
Godzilla.
I also have a Godzilla film cell.
Oh, wow. Nice. But wait, the movie, that's not a film cell from the 1954 Godzilla, though. That looks like a.
No, it's not.
What? Which movie is that? I can't.
I know it's from one of the millennial ones. It
Yeah, that's the
looks like
Millennium series.
I think it's from Godzilla 2000, or at least Godzilla versus
Godzilla versus Megaguirus, maybe?
maybe. It has to be one of those two. Which I mean, in my own personal opinion, out of all designs for Godzilla, definitely my favorite design for Godzilla is the one from Godzilla 2000.
Okay. That's fair. Okay, do
Which
you guys think Nanotyrannus may be a juvenile specimen for genus Tyrannosaurus rex? Yes, I think that is very possible. I'm not willing to say that it's definitely the case, but I see no particular reason why that's implausible.
I feel the same way too, and especially after seeing Jack Horner's presentations on it. But at the same time, though, I also want to jump. I don't want to jump the gun, kind of like what Kent Hovind did during my debate with him, and especially when he said, "Oh, I won." It's like, dude, you're jumping to conclusions. You know, after seeing Jack Horner's presentations on it, I definitely do think it's very possible. I mean, the stuff that he presented was very, very convincing.
Well, I mean, he knows what he's talking about. I'm a dummy.
Right. Oh
But
yeah, about Jack Horner. I also wanted to present to Kent Hovind about Jack Horner's Chickenosaurus.
oh his Chickensaurus thing where he's gonna try and make a morphologically primitive dinosaur using the base
Right, and
genome
it,
of a chicken.
right, and it's just the fact that because that uh, you know not even dinosaurs lived too long ago. It's just that the fact that if you're gonna pull a Jurassic Park, that's gonna be your best option.
All right, let's see. Damage to. Welcome to the chat, by the way. I don't think I've seen you chat in here before. Says I would choose one of three: Godzilla because of the rest. Not entirely sure what the context is there, but I like that.
Yeah,
Um, but by the way, there's a very high chance that I'm going to go through and do reviews of the Godzilla movie on that new channel that Beethoven. So he says Uncle Kent, no relation, every so often, despite being wrong even more often. And that's true. I have seen Kent Hovind actually, usually because his opponent is bad at debate. I would say Kent Hovind is essentially never right. Debate. That doesn't mean he doesn't win. You don't have to be right to win. It helps. Not technically.
and which of those debates would you say that he won?
I think you could make a good argument that on the debate against Godless Engineer, mostly because Godless Engineer has never really impressed me as terribly intelligent. Is sometimes amusing. That's basically what
I,
he.
I think hasn't that the one about Noah's flood?
I think it was about Noah's. Although it's been a while since I saw it. But I also think he won a debate about Noah's flood against someone on Steve Ray's channel. I haven't seen that debate in a really long time. But the guy that was on the con side just was not prepared for Kent's arguments and did not have any reason to the whole debate. And it was frustrating because I knew reasonable counters. And as I was watching it, I was like, say this. He's like talking about polystrate fossils. I'm like, talk about how long, lycopod trunks could likely survive, the kinds of conditions they were buried in. Why don't we have polystrate animal bones? Like all of these things. And he just like, oh well, I don't know about that, so let's move on. I was like, if you don't know the creationist arguments, how are you ever going? Because one of the things is, okay, working scientists, fields that touch on young Earth creationism, not engage with it at all because it brings nothing to the table. Young Earth creationism has never made a prediction that has been borne out that was at odds with a prediction that would be made by the mainstream.
Right, and and the thing about science is that it has to make predictions. If it does not make predictions, then it's not science. Oh yeah, so
Maya,
question.
oh, sorry, 1 second. Maya pointed out that most people who saw the debate with GE, Kent Hovind, concluded with much disdain that GE lost. And I will say this for GE. He did manage to get Kent Hovind to repeatedly say whale penis, which I found amusing. So there is that. He got Kent to just several times say whale penis, and I appreciate it. A great degree. Because it's not the kind of thing Kent Hovind wants to say.
Right, which I understand why he wanted. So question for you.
Go ahead.
So if you had to be honest, do you think that I won the debate I had last night?
I think so. I don't think it was as crushing as it could have been. But that's, it's also your first ever live debate. And it was also, you were obvious, all of the schedule changes didn't help. I think that may have, in fact, been sort of a tactic to get you a little flustered. I'm not sure, because it's always hard to tell with Kent how honest he's because he's often dishonest. But so yeah, no, I think you won. I think you won pretty handily. I think, like I said, I had a few things that I think you could have done a little bit better, but I don't think that they took away from that. Oh, excuse me. I have a few things. Warlord Pliskin says GE mentally ill. I don't actually have any way to confirm that. I'm not a doctor. Even if I were, I haven't examined him, so say, let's see. Illuminati Dawn. Or go ahead.
It's just funny, about godless engineering. When I was wanting to debunk flat Earth, I actually found him because of that.
Oh, okay. Illuminati Dawn says, do you guys think that dinosaurs and pterosaurs both came from an archosaur fibers? Well, at that point, it's hard to say whether or not you would have called them pycnofibers, but I think the fact that very basal dinosaurs and essentially all pterosaurs had filamentous integumentary structures that are very similar in structure probably leads that filamentous integument basal era. And I've even seen a paper which actually concluded otherwise, but it was from before the sort of universal nature of pycnofibers was discovered. And in the analysis, it admitted that if the paper was wrong about the nature of integument in pterosaurs, which it was, it would reverse results of the study to give you good support for filamentous integument as basal towards gyra. So I think right now I think it's probably like a 65% chance that this feature is actually homologous in pterosaurs. What do you think?
I think that I pretty much have the same opinion as you do. It's just that, I personally never have heard of any scientists saying that pterosaurs evolved from archosaurs, and so yeah, and the fact that pterosaurs aren't even dinosaurs.
So. Damage to apparently says being restrained did not make him a loser. Not getting pissed off does not make a man. I saw the debate. He didn't made a fool of him. has class. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're wrong. It's who won a debate is always a matter of opinion. And GE was obviously more right about what he was arguing than Kent was, but I feel like he often is bad at presenting argument and simply resorts to things like, "Oh, that's ridiculous." It's like, well, it might be ridiculous, but stating that it is doesn't help. You have to actually describe it. And then we got real non sequitur, which welcome to chat. GE is a numpty. Not really going to disagree. GE, this is Clifford Reynolds. He's not very bright, but didn't challenge Kent's arguments effectively. See, that's what I would say, is that GE did a much poorer job than he could have if he had been better prepared and had simply been better at arguing. I mean, he lost the debate to G-Man, which I didn't think was physically possible. I thought it was physically impossible to debate to G-Man, but I was proved.
And didn't G-Man do a debate with Inspiring Philosophy?
I'm not sure.
I might be thinking of someone else. It's just that, G-Man, that sounds really familiar. I'm just trying to think of where I've heard it before.
So G-Man, he's been in and out of sort of the young Earth creationist debate community for a while. He is, I will say this, there is actually good reason to think that he may in fact have some mental health problems, which is one of the reasons I try not to spend a lot of time talking ridiculous he is. However, he essentially makes Kent Hovind's arguments, but he does it more loudly and more rudely. He has a tendency to, anytime he's challenged, much more rudely. It's amazing how little forum G-Man has. When he feels like he's being disagreed with, he takes it as a personal attack, and he starts screaming and talking over. He is He's usually brought on as a comic relief, viable dump.
Wow,
yeah.
That's
and he also famously heaped large amounts of abuse on an elderly woman on the basis of her sexuality.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to assume, but like you said, he might have mental health issues. I mean, he might have autism or something like that.
I'm not going to speculate, other than to say that things have been brought to my attention, including statements of his, that make me think there is a fair chance that he has actually been diagnosed with. And I'm not here to make fun of people with mental health issues, because I am a big proponent of stigmatizing mental health problems. Many people very close to me have mental health problems that have been diagnosed. That does not make them less important, less worthwhile as humans. I mean, obviously they could be better if they were dinosaurs, but since they're humans, whatever. But seriously, I'm not a fan of making fun with
I certainly hope that I didn't come across that.
I don't think you did. I don't. Good. Yeah, I don't think you did. I just wanted to make it clear that I am not here to do that. However, it is also true that up until recently, I thought it was impossible to debate with G-Man because his behavior was generally so poor that he would lose a debate simply on the basis of his poor decorum. But he had a debate on what is left of the non sequitur show.
Which actually was right. G-Man actually did debate Inspiring Philosophy. They actually debated about whether or not people in the Bible really did live till like 900 years old. Which is actually something that I think that I cleverly refuted, like when Hovind brought that up.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole G-Man thing. Look, I'll be honest. I've watched G-Man a few times not gonna lie. I don't feel great about it because, like I said, I think there's health problems.
There might be. At the same time, though, but at the same time, though,
He does put
we
himself
don't
out
always
there.
know, I mean, we don't always know what's going on behind the scenes, and it's just that it's because my life has been dark before, and it's just that that's always why I try to be as kind as I can to other people, and that was why that I want to show myself some class during my opening statement. I even told Kent Hovind, I know that you and I both disagree about theology and science, but I want to wish you the best of luck. Something that
Yeah.
Kent Hovind never did.
Oh no, he relies too heavily on keeping luck with him, on keeping his opponents as othered as possible. He makes sure that they think of his opponents as evil, and like what's one of the reasons why he often says, like, I suspect the real reason that you believe this because something about your lifestyle doesn't agree with God. And it's like, you don't know anything about this person. This person could be a teetotaling virgin who has never sworn or smoked a cigarette or done any of the things that you consider, sinful. But
Right.
it doesn't
That
matter.
also,
He's just going to imply it anyway. And the thing is,
right.
I know atheists who basically live lives that most Christians would consider pretty darn exemplary, and who don't go sleeping around and don't go around getting drunk and things. And it's just like, so they don't believe in God because their essentially squeaky clean lifestyle wouldn't allow for it. I beg to differ.
But yeah, and but that was why that as soon as Kent Hovind brought up, oh, you're calling Jesus a liar, without getting too personal, that was why like I wanted to bring up, just a little bit about my past, but yet not too revealing at the same time. But yeah, and it's like, going back to what he said, it's like, no one's gonna be perfect, and nobody's gonna be, flawless, and no one's gonna be purely evil, like, just by, you know, just by what you're labeled as your religion is.
Yeah. Or lack thereof.
Right, right, or lack thereof. We
And
all
that is one of the things that always bugs me is when Ken Hovind's like, "Oh, this is a religion." It's like, no, no, it's not. Even if it's wrong, it's not a religion.
But yeah, the thing about evolution, there is no practice to it. There's no worship. It's not an. It's not a religion. I was
Right.
wanting to bring that, but lack of time again.
Yeah. Well, it's a tactic that lack of time is a thing that he tries to use to his advantage, and that's one of the reasons why, in general, creationists try not to engage in written because there's no time constraint. And when there's no time constraint, every single one of their false statements dealt with, because the only way to defend young Earth creationism is with false statements.
Which was something that I found out for myself. After I did more research, about young Earth creationist claims, I found out the real history about dragon legends, and I found out the real history behind the Stegosaurus carving, the real history behind the Iike stones, and yeah, it's like, if the arguments that you're trying to use are not strong enough to stand on its own, then you shouldn't use them.
Yeah. 1 second. I just want to. Actually, I'll just say, hey guys, can we keep? Let's put the chat a little bit more on topic, and if there are personal disagreements, why don't you guys try to take
Keep
it
it.
to a different location? Maybe take it to Twitter or something. Take it to Facebook, mail. I don't care, because I don't want that to be what my mods are trying to pay attention. I appreciate everyone who's watching. So
Does anybody else in the comments have any questions for me? I actually am very surprised that I haven't really gone a whole lot.
I think one of the problems is that because of all the changes in venue and the rather obscure location, I think not enough people have. And I would say everyone who's watching, please have not seen the debate. Watch it on Eric's channel. I'll relink it from the. It's in the description. If you don't see the chat, please after this go watch the whole debate. Give Eric a subscription. Eric, I assume you're going to be continuing with this kind of content on your channel. And I noticed you have a lot of movie reviews.
The thing about my channel, I kind of like to have a variety of things. You know, I've been doing a series since 2009 called like Things That Piss Me Off, like where, you know, like where pretty much I will rant about something like that makes, you know, me mad. It's just that series is mostly, you know, comedy. You know, it's not something that I want to take too seriously.
Okay.
Man, I also do movie reviews, and I do a lot of talk about movies. It's because I love movies.
Well, hey,
And
I'll talk to my other hosts on my new channel or our new channel. I'm sorry. Maybe you can come on sometime.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would love that. And you know, and I also like, you know, to give like some wisdom like videos, you know, just wisdom about life. And recently I actually started and recently I started to get into more debunking dinosaur denier claims and also debunking younger creationist claims. And so, you know, that whole thing is more new to my channel.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's just that, you know, I just kind of feel like that with my channel, I don't want it to have it get like too stale and boring, and so then you know, and so then that's why I try to branch out and to do other things.
I do have a question from Johnny Don, and the question is: is Megalosaurus a type of Tyrannosaurus? And one thing, first I want to point out, Tyrannosaurus is actually a specific genus name. There are Tyrannosaurs, which are members essentially of the subfamily that Tyrannosaurus is part of. There's also larger groups like Tyrannosauroidea, much larger grouping. But no, Megalosaurus is not in any way very closely related to. From my, I'm going to double check, but I don't believe that Megalosaurus is even is sort of the group of dinosaurs where you get Tyrannosaurus and ornithomimids and compsognathus birds. But I'm going to double check. I believe Megalosaurus or Carcharodontosaur?
I believe it is, but you know, but it's just the thing is, everybody always has to assume like that every theropod is related to T-Rex, and it's only because the T-Rex is the most famous.
Well, yeah. Every time there's a new theropod discovered, the media always goes, "This ancient cousin of T-Rex," and it's like, well, kinda in a very broad sense.
It's a theropod, but
Right.
that's a pretty vague comparison. It's like, yeah, it's yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So Megalosaurus not a Carcharodontosaur. Those were not technically basal from family Megalosauroidea. Prize there. So it is definitely not a Tyrannosaur. Let's see what else we have.
And from my understanding, I could be wrong. They never found a complete Megalosaurus skull, from my understanding.
I believe you are correct. I'm not positive though.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that is the case. I do know that part. I think of its lower jaw was found, but I mean, you know, people have to. I mean, people have to understand just how rare fossilization is in the
Oh
first
yeah,
place.
definitely not very. I can see now why I might have thought the Megalodontosaur. A lot of reconstructions. Carcharodontosaur profile. I'm not sure
Right.
why. I don't think that's actually very accurate, but yeah, it doesn't look like we have like.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, then the second dinosaur ever found was actually Iguanodon, and it got its name. It's because paleontologists at that time thought that it was a giant iguana. Up until further discoveries afterwards revealed that it was not that at all. And then there was another one. It was an Ankylosaur. I forgot its name. I just forgot its name. But yeah, not much has been found of the third dinosaur ever found. I mean, barely anything has ever been found, which also it's kind of sad to think that Megalosaurus, the first dinosaur ever found, hasn't really gotten that much attention, just within the mainstream. It's just within the mainstream, just I kind of feel like that Megalosaurus deserves all the attention. I mean, I think the only movie appearances that it ever made was in Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's. I don't I don't think it was in the original Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, but I am pretty sure that it was in one of the remakes.
1 second, I have to try and do a thing here with Mike. I'm seeing if that helps with the whole. Apparently, I'm cutting out, which no one told me. Am I cutting out to you, Eric?
No, no.
Yeah, so it's probably my mic settings into my broadcaster software. So,
Okay.
all right. Hey, again, chat. Let's bring it back to things like dinosaurs and the debate.
Right. Yeah.
There's,
Let's keep it on topic, please.
I get it. There are some serious disagreements about some things, but we're gonna keep it off that. Keep it civil, and let's keep it on dinosaurs. Let's ask some more dinosaur questions because we don't have that much longer that we're going to be on air.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Does anybody have any questions for me regarding the debate at all?
Yeah, I would love for Eric to field some of those questions. And hey, right now you can get your questions answered without paying money because once I hit that 1,000 subscribers, you're gonna have to pay all the money. Which that's not actually true. It's not like the only things I'll read from chat are super chats, but it will be the way to guarantee it. So I did have a question. What made you want to debate Kent Hovind in particular?
Okay, so the whole thing started it was because it's kind of funny because back when I was in junior high and high school, I wasn't into debates at all. But it wasn't until after I graduated, because on Facebook, I mean, there are debates going on all the time, and so then that was kind of like the planting of the seed for me. Mom, and then when I was going on that big journey.
Eric, you there?
Yeah. Sorry about that. So, anyways, when I was going on that big epic journey about what does the Bible say about dinosaurs, it led me to watch a lot of debates about about religion and I watched a debate with John Lennox and Richard Dawkins, and I watched a ton of other debates. I watched Hugh Ross versus Kent Hovind.
Oh, I saw that debate. Hugh Ross did really well in that one. And I disagree with Hugh Ross about a lot of things, don't get me wrong. But Hugh Ross is definitely more right than Kent Hovind is.
Yeah, definitely. And then anyways, and I had watched debates with inspiring philosophy, and then when I saw his like with Kent Hovind, I thought that was a really really good debate. And then one day I was talking with my friend Michael, who was one of my paleontology friends, and this is why that I wanted to bring him. This is why that I wanted to bring him on his show. One night we're talking, and then both of us kind of gave me the idea. Hey, I should debate a young Earth creationist about when dinosaurs lived, and then he was like, "Do it, do it, do it, do it."
I think Kent Hovind, assuming he's still here, can tell you from personal experience that that's what got me to debate him. Was he and his brother kept telling me, "You should just go do it, just debate Kent Hovind," and I was like, "Fine, all right, I'll do it. Just shut up about it."
And so originally, I was going to debate on modern day debate. I was originally going to debate Standing for Truth, which is kind of ironic because Standing for Truth was actually a moderator for the one from last night. So Standing for Truth was actually originally all for debating me about dinosaurs and when they lived. But then he backed out. He was going to say, "Oh, I just want to do other things." I mean, granted, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. What if he's actually telling the truth? I mean, I don't know him. But at the same time, I also thought it was kind of odd, from him going, "Oh yeah, Eric, I will do it." He seemed very enthusiastic about it.
I want to
And
say,
then,
Standing for Truth has been in the chat here, but he has
right,
chatted, so I don't know if he's still here. But yeah, sorry, keep going.
right, and like I said, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and he also does seem like a pretty nice guy. And I mean, it could have been a lot of things, maybe he just lost interest in debating me, or it could have been a lot of things. And so then, if he wants to debate me about theistic evolution versus young Earth creationism, and then he offered me that back then, but I was like, I've been really prepared to do one about dinosaurs. And so then I told him, maybe some other time. And me and Standing for Truth, we actually are talking about doing one about theistic evolution versus young Earth creationism, about microevolution and macroevolution. So then I was trying to find somebody else. I thought about, well, maybe I can debate Nephilim Free, or maybe I can debate or maybe I can debate Bill Morgan. And
Actually,
then,
I'm trying to arrange a Bill Morgan debate.
interesting.
Yeah,
But
I'm
anyway,
hoping to get him on talk to him about bird evolution, because I felt like his debate with Tom Jump that came up and it just wasn't well addressed.
yeah. And so, anyways, and then James was the one who offered. Well, I could offer it to Kent Hovind, and I was like, Kent Hovind, man, it's just when he told me that, it made me think, hey, I used to be a young Earth creationist. I used to watch his sermons on dinosaurs,
Yeah,
and so that if I debate him, it's me confronting my past. I'm like, yes, Kent Hovind,
nice.
he is the
So
one.
I do have another
Fortunately,
question from Clifford Reynolds, and I want to make sure that we can get to as many questions as possible since we're coming up on time to
yeah.
go. Who do you want your next debate to be against? Do you even want to have a next debate? I don't even know.
Like I said, I do want to have a second debate with Kent Hovind, so I can go through more of some of my points I was wanting to go through. Me and Standing for Truth, we actually do. We are planning another. We're planning on doing a debate about theistic evolution versus young Earth creationism, and I mostly am interested in debating young Earth creationists.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's my sort of thing too. I'm also open to old Earth creationism, and to the extent that it's anti-evolutionary, because it's evolution is up there with the theory of gravity, the germ theory of disease, and the theory of heliocentrism for the solar system. There is just there is no legitimate criticism that has been leveled at the theory as a whole. Certain details about it are still under discussion and debate, and yeah, great. There are details about the exact mechanisms and pace and at particular events, but the whole thing as a whole there's just no real debate about it scientifically. But I think we might have a question here. Uh, oh, so this isn't quite a question, but I definitely want to read it. It's from Damaged 262. He says, Kent Hovind is my hero. He literally taught me to question everything I can't understand. Sadly for him, science is one of the things I do understand. So I like how that takes a nice little turn right at the end. That was great.
It's funny, and the fact that it's been pointed out to him so many times. Micro and macro evolution are the same thing.
mm, yeah, there really isn't a big difference. Oh, sorry. They're different in
It's okay.
extent. It's sort of like an analogy I once used was like, imagine if there was this distinction between micro and macro erosion, where you said, oh, this little channel carved by the stream, that's micro erosion. But the weathering on this cliff face, that's macro erosion. I don't know about that. You really think that erosion could cause this cliff face to smooth out or this arch to form in the rocks? I was like, yeah, it could, with the exact same process. It just takes a bit longer. There's not really a difference in like kind. There's just a difference in degree.
And like I said last night, to believe in microevolution but not macroevolution, it is like you're going to believe inches but not feet.
Yeah. I like that analogy in your debate. And Bent Hovind says, Kent Hovind taught me how much credibility matters when a listener, that being Bent, goes into a debate with an open mind. And yeah, Kent Hovind has trouble with credibility among open-minded listeners because so much of his stories and anecdotes and quote facts are so poorly substantiated or just obviously wrong. Um, honestly, I wish that some of the bigger name, more mainstream young Earth creationists were available for debates, like a Ken Ham. Ken Ham is less wrong than Ken Hovind, which is hard to believe given how absurdly wrong Ken Ham is about most things. But he just, I mean, unless you're a Bill Nye, you're not going to get a debate with Ken Ham. I'm not going to get to debate Ken Ham because he'll just ignore any message I send him about it. And I don't
Right,
blame
yeah.
him. It's not to his advantage.
And the funny thing about Ken Ham, and this was something that Bill Ludwell was wanting me to ask him, but I forgot. And so Bill was wanting me to ask him, hey, so where are those fossilized dinosaur saddles? And and Bill, and Bill is really, really all for dinosaurs being ruled by humans. Is because that Ken Ham has a claim. Oh, we never said that humans ever rode dinosaurs, but yet Ken Ham has even wrote a dinosaur book where there are people doing such things.
Yeah, it's they definitely have at least implied that that's the case, that people rode dinosaurs. And yeah. So I just put in the chat that any last questions, you guys got to get them in soon because we're going off. If I don't get any questions in the next like minute or so, we are gonna
Yeah,
sign off because it's getting to that time.
5 minutes.
We're about to hit the 2 hour mark, and we're gonna keep it below that. So once again, Bent Hovind, could you post our new channel just in case anyone else wants to get in on that? I feel like I think Warlord Pliskin just left and unsubscribed. If for some reason you hear this, Warlord, you are welcome back. It's just that we are trying to keep the chat from becoming a shouting match on off-topic matters. Really, that's the only thing. You can disagree with us about the topic of the debate. That's great. But yeah, so
That's
I don't think we have any more questions coming in right now. So I'm going to go ahead and say that we're going to be ending it here. Eric, do you have anything you want to plug before we leave? Other than your channel, which, I mean, go subscribe to Eric.
That would be all for now. And yeah, I really can't think of anything else.
Okay, well, the only thing I really want to plug... Oh, wait a second. Do you guys know if there's any evidence of sauropods that have any type of feathers? No, I have yet to hear about any finding of any kind of integument for sauropods other than reticulae, which are kind of the small, roundish scales that dinosaurs have.
All right, so what we have to remember, the theropod dinosaurs, at least a good majority of them, they had feathers.
Yeah.
But like sauropods are a different branch of dinosaur.
Yeah. I would not be surprised to find some prosauropods with kind of fur-like down, but, All right, so that's going to be it. The only thing I'm going to... the participants are going to be Cheshire Vic, who you may recognize from a lot of Steve McRae's live streams, myself, and Kent Hovind, where all three of us are going to be given movie commentaries. We can each do movie reviews, talk about TV shows, all sorts of that nice media stuff. But, Eric, I really enjoyed the debate. I hope everyone here who hasn't seen it goes and watches it. Thank you so much for coming on, and I had a lot of fun on this stream. And good night, everyone. Stay tuned on this channel on October 5th for a debate with Unidentified Leviathan about did dinosaurs and humans live at the same time or coexist or whatever exactly we're going to title it. Good night.
Yeah. Thank you all.